technology. Right. I hope it is loud and clear, right, for those who are online, because this is a hybrid versions of the so-called workshop. I've seen familiar names like Kamisa, Atika Razali Iman, I'm not very sure, Fazalina, Kepsa Exo, we've got names like Dewan Shamsuddin, right? Dewan something, Dewan Samsuduha, is it?
Samsuddoha, the one
Oh,
Samsuddoha.
MashaAllah. Where are you, brother? Where are you from, brother?
I'm from Bangladesh.
Which part of Bangladesh?
Bangladesh, Netroguna.
South?
You can say Dhaka. Yes,
Are you in Dhaka?
yes.
Right. So we pray to Allah. Hopefully everything will be settled down over there.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Inshallah. Right. So got a lot of names there. Some are rather familiar to me. In fact, right in this room, they are trying to get more information. Perhaps they're learning and relearning. Now, I can't afford. I have to be honest with you. I can't afford to teach everything. So I would prefer if it is like focusing on one particular type of qualitative data, and then focus on the processes involved in so-called generating the themes. I think this is the most fundamental issues, one of the fundamental issues faced by so-called qualitative students, the know-how of generating the so-called the themes. So you have to bear with me because I tend to be rather rigorous in terms of my method of teaching this. I will not be using any particular software. I will be teaching you the fundamental of doing it right from the very beginning. If you do it right from the very beginning, inshallah, you'll be able to produce so-called rigorous or what I call it as being trustworthy, or the trustworthiness of your interpretations. So you must bear with me, be patient throughout the process, and I don't think I can teach every single dimensions on the know-hows in processing the different types of qualitative data. So I'll be using the most favorite type, which is the qualitative interview. Normal in previous sessions in other kuliahs, or other agencies, I always begin my instructions based on qualitative dimension, which is focusing on qualitative interview. So for today's session, it won't be in that manner. I will straight go into the template. So what you will be shared would be my template, which I have used, and I'm in the process of coming up with a software for this particular template. I think I've been saying that for the last 10 years. Actually, I'm still struggling with ICT, hoping that I can come up with this by the end of the year. It is known as iAxor. Hopefully, this template would help you a lot. This is very fundamental. So this is the one that you can see on the screen is the very first template. I've shared this template in the WhatsApp group, right? So you may want to refer to this particular template. This is known as template number 1, and this is the transcription template, right? So there are 4 columns there. Wassalamu warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. There are 4 columns there. The first column is known as DU, okay, discourse unit. So I will share with you what does it mean by a discourse unit. It's a numbering system, but it means that if you say something by either one of the researcher or perhaps the interviewer, it is a discourse by itself. Even if I say, hello, right? A question mark, hello, and that is one discourse unit. And then there is a response, right? Hi, how are you? Right? That is another discourse unit. I'm fine. That is another discourse unit. So a discourse unit is a meaningful chunk of a praise. It's meaningful. And that meaningfulness happened between the two person. in this case, I use the word researcher, and I for interviewee. Whatever codes that you want to use in assigning certain meanings, that falls under a bigger notions or under a bigger umbrella known as notational convention. Have you heard of it? So a notational convention is what? A kind of a legend telling you all the abbreviation used in the transcription. Are you aware of this? Tak pernah dengar pun. Notational convention is a guide for whoever going to read your thesis or your directed research or PhD thesis and whatnot, telling them, guiding them, what does it mean when you use all those abbreviations or terms in the transcription or even in the write-up. Yeah, so you can scroll my materials where I, share with you an example of notational convention. So not notation convention, yeah, notational convention. So convention means something that you can create, right? So in my case, I adopted it from a number of sources. Yeah, that is the meaning of notational convention. So in this case, if you see the term RI, okay, that means something. So first, give a code for this. Place, you need not to put the exact location. Because why? Because of confidentiality. So you can just say, in one of the cafes in Klang Valley, you have to protect the identity of the name. You can name the person, but you never ever write down the full name or the real name. So it's a pseudonym, right? A pseudonym, perhaps a name of a cat. Yeah, Muazza or Muizza or whatever it is, right? But it's a code. That is your code, or you create your own code. But all those code must be in the notational convention. Okay. Date, put down the exact date, and you can put down the right time. Right? This is your choice. So in one of my previous experiences, I conducted interview late at night, around 11 o'clock or 10:30, and I managed to capture all the data until like 1 o'clock. And it ended with a late supper. Uh, the what? No need. But if you use certain software, you will be able to capture that. Right. So now, column number 1, this is the most fundamental thing. Column number 1 is a discourse unit. Why you need all these things? Because it will help you a lot when you want to defend yourself in your write-up. So Mr. blah, blah, blah says that, and then you quote, you quote the so-called the words being said. But at the end of the word, at the far right corner, you put down DU, discourse unit 28 until 30. So it means that you have directly taken from the transcriptions. Okay? Perhaps you have seen that in a thesis, right? Only compelling cases where you need to capture the real text coming from the mouth of the horse. And there you go, capture. So that is column number 1. Column number 2 would be between the researcher and the interviewer. I hope it's loud and clear. I'm not very sure because they're not here. Yeah. Yeah. So guys on the line, are you with me?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah.
So it's clear, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it's clear.
All right, good. Now, that's column number 2. Column number 3 is the transcription. Now, the transcription must be as is. Have you heard of this, the concept of as is? Verbatim. You dare not to exclude or delete certain words. If the word is considered as quote unquote, unwanted, okay, vulgar word, you can use a symbol, right? You can use a symbol. It is understood. I sometimes I use the word. I know that guy keep on saying that 4-letter word. You know that 4-letter word, right? There you go. So I use the symbol. Yeah. So just to not to mention it, this is a vulgar word. All right. So when I conducted interview with one of the, I won't mention this, not in Malaysia, it's in the Western world. Keep on saying this word, throughout the interview, I think more than 60 times. Keep on appearing because it is part and parcel of the conversation.
Yeah.
Everything is like, what the, yeah, there you go. Vulgar. Anyway, so keep on repeating, but you need to put that in your notational conventions. Yeah.
Is a long pause, is it?
Hold on.
Okay.
All right. So these are all symbols. You can see the symbols like double slash, right? So it carries meaning, right? It carries meaning. You have to put that in your transcriptions, in your notational convention. It will help them to understand what you are actually trying to share in the transcription. Okay? All right. So if it is in Arabic, if say wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, should it be in Arabic? No. Use the one that is easy to be understood or easy to be read by the so-called readers. Right. There are cases where your main supervisors would like to see all the transcription in the appendix or samples of pages coming from the transcriptions in the appendix. It depends. In my case, I was quote unquote a little bit not really unlucky because the external would like to read most of them. So it becomes 2 volume. Volume 1 of the thesis would be all the chapters, right? And all the references. But volume number 2 happen to be with all the transcription. It's quite thick. Yeah? Right, for some reason. Now, so any question pertaining to this particular conversation, you dare not to add or delete whatever being said in the conversation. Because why? You have to tell the truth. In qualitative research, you are the ambassador of the informants. I call it participants, or you can call it informants. You are representing them, right? You are talking or you are interpreting their ideas based on whatever that being interpreted, and the ideas come from them. So quote unquote, you have to tell the truth. Never ever hide the truth, or else you're not doing justice to the research itself. You're answerable to your creator later on, right? And that's why you need to type it based on verbatim, as is, whatever being said, being typed, right? You may want to use AI or whatever it is, but make sure you recheck everything being said, being written. Okay, and there are cases like, sir, why don't we just use our recording device? We will send to you, submit everything based on the recording device, right? So then, there's no need to do the transcription. Tell me, when you are defending your thesis and suddenly the examiner asks you questions, how do you know that this is, I just want to know the context. Would you be playing back your recording device? No way, man. No way, Jose, I call it. No way, Jose. So you have to, sorry, this Spanish. Yeah. So you have to go back to the transcription. That is the only place for you to fall back to defend yourself in the Viva. Sometimes they ask you, that sort of question just to get verification. All right. So this is very fundamental. Do it right from the very beginning. Inshallah, you will be producing the right themes. Do it right. Yeah. Jangan mengelat. Jangan tipu. I have seen submitted work in advanced qualitative course. Submitted work conversation is actually fake. The students produce the transcriptions using logical reason, and somehow the sound is actually being recorded. So you are like reading a text. So a natural conversation is a conversation with a purpose, and that is what we call real interview. But when you're reading a text, there is no ups and downs. It's just like reading a text and then being recorded. Ingat macam ni bodoh ke? Fail lah you kan? I'm sorry to use bahasa, but you have to tell the truth. You are representing them. Tell share their real experiences or their life experiences based on whatever they have experienced. Okay, all right, right. So I think this is template number 1. This is rather straightforward. Maybe for a 45 minutes conversation, you would have like 300 discourse units, right? And as I said before we begin our session, I did discuss something on the skills of collecting information through interview, right? I have seen the particular transcription which I consider to be so-called lacking information. Why? What made you think that you produce a kind of information from the transcription, but it seems to be lacking information? Because you fail to go deeper, right? That's what we call interviewing skills. Okay, let's say a particular interview. In a particular interview, a student, you ask a question, how do you define AI, artificial intelligence? Well, sir, AI is blah, 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 in less than 20 seconds. And then you're happy with the answer, then you go, okay, my next question, sir, you should have go deeper, right? So what are the elements that make you think that your definition is blah, 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 blah? You go deeper and try to understand. Only then you move on to the next question. And that has something to do with interviewing skills. Let's say you interviewed Tun Mahathir. You ask one fundamental question. Tun, how did you blah, 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 right? And then Tun explained to you, would you dare to, then suddenly you realize that, hey, Tun Mahathir is supposed to answer interview question number 3, but he's actually, explaining interview question number 14. Would you say, Tun, can you stop first? No, that is not natural. And especially when it's over a cup of tea and teh tarik or nasi lemak, right? So it's a natural conversation with a purpose, right? Ini baca seorang temu bual macam nak pergi interview kan. Encik ni dah berapa lama kerja di sini? It's rigid. It's not natural. So that is the meaning of interview. It's a natural conversation. You can review my material shared with you. A case of interview somewhere in Uganda, and so in a particular social setting. Have a look at it. It's very natural. It's very nice. It's semi-structured, right? So are you aware of the different types of interview? Tahu tak? Open interview, closed interview, semi-structured. Tahu tak? Kenapa you gunakan open? Why you use open structured? Or why you use closed-ended? Why you use semi-structured? There are reasons for this. Bukan short sendiri. Depending on the context. So that is telling the truth, transcription, right? If there are certain things which is not clear out of that interview or words being spoken out, but it's not clear in your transcription, you may want to call back the person, right? So the other day you cakap perkataan, I heard you guna perkataan, is it ping or puing? Puing lah, doctor, puing. It's a local dialect, right? So you know the meaning of puing? Yeah, I know the meaning of it. So make sure you can check and recheck. And that's why there's a remark here. Okay, call back Mr. Azlan regarding this idea. You can always put that in the note. If you have actually captured in your diary, note it down. Right there, there's a remark. So remarks can serve you for many I mean, to help you to guide you to understand the context of this particular discourse unit, right? Template number 1, discourse unit, 4 columns, basically 4 columns. Discourse unit, the participants involved, researcher, I for interview, and then the transcription. So in my case, in this particular case, the person used I1, interviewee number 1. It's just a code, right? So how many participants would you require for your so-called needed data before you reach saturation? Is there any particular number? It depends on your design, right? A case study of 3 high school girls, high school students and girls, involved in vaping or smoking. Kan, katalah kan? It's kind of a new phenomenon which is not really that clear. You want to investigate why they somehow engage in that particular activity, right? Kan? So macam mana tu? Right? So the case study, in other words, you only focus on the one that can share rich information. It's a case, kajian case. Yeah, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe only 2. I've seen 1 case. Yeah, only 1 case, because that's the only person who can talk about that particular issue. Right, the last person, case study. If it is a kind of saturation, have you heard of this particular term, saturation? Right, data saturation. Kan kalau awan tu tepu kan bila berat sangat, ya kan, hujan kan, that is so-called saturate or saturation. So there is no exact formula, there is no precise formula for this. Creswell says this, you get another author saying this is a number, roughly between 8 until 15, between that number. So when you know that you have reached saturation, then you can stop conducting the interview. Enough is enough. I think I have to stop here. There seems to be no new information. I just keep on repeating, right? Jadi tahulah, cukup lah ni. I tak nak lagi kan. Cukup lah ni. I got 11 informants. I have reached that saturation. There seems to be no more new ideas of that particular interview questions. If it is a semi-structured, make sure that the same question be repeated throughout the 13 informant of 12 participants, whatever term that you use, or the interviewees, right? You must repeat the same questions, asking the same thing, because you want to get what they call these collections of ideas. So what I'm talking about here is about before you can preach or produce your theme, even if you knew this or you used Atlas DI or NBibo, all those so-called softwares won't help you to identify the theme. No way. What you can do is actually to put things in categories. So you are the one who makes sense of the whole thing. You are the one going to do interpretations, right? Clear. So far, so good. So any questions pertaining to template number 1? Yeah.
The next language.
All right, that's what they call verbatim. You dare not to translate to whatever it is. Right, let's say in my case, I happen to be in that situation before because my reader happened to be my supervisor, a native speaker in Nottingham, in England, right? So first I do the verbatim as is. So only selected versions of the transcription being translated to from English to Bahasa, from Bahasa to English. Because some of the informants happen to be using Bahasa or mix of Bahasa and English, but I translated everything to English. But then it has to be verified by, I used 2 experts. One, a language expert with a diploma in translation or whatever from UKM. And there is another one from Institute Terjemahan Bahasa, I think somewhere next to UM. IPG, I just like an IPG. Ilmu khas or bahasa somewhere out of the area. So got 2 person who verified my translations, right? It's about 98% or 99% accurate. There is another way known as back-to-back translation. You can Google around what does it mean by back-to-back translation. Yes.
There are forms for the verification.
Form.
Is there anything that we have?
You have to get that so-called verification by the expert. Let's say if that conversation happened to be in the local dialect, bahasa Banjar, bahasa Bugis, right? Your supervisor had no idea of that language or that local dialect. Then perhaps you need to first transcribe as is in that dialect, right? And the second thing that you have to discuss, you have to come up with selected text or selected pages that being transcribed to bahasa, to English. In your case, it's English. Then get the verification by the so-called the experts that they agreed with translation. Unless your supervisor said, I need everything to be in English, then every single page you can translate. It's a long story, right?
Asking about the documentation process for the, let's say, like, for the but do you still need a form that say, okay, this is verified by this person here?
That is by the supervisor, because before they submit the thesis to the examiners, it must be endorsed by the supervisory committee. So they're going to ask you a lot of other things, not only on that. There's so many other things before being endorsed, sent to the so-called examiners. One internal and I think one external, depending on the position. If the person is a lecturer, I think one internal, two externals. Nasib lah kan. Some universities in Australia, eight examiners all over the world. 8 examiners all over the world. Wow, takut kan? All right. So can I proceed to the template number 2?
Yes, you may.
So what about the friends in the WhatsApp group? Sorry, in the online members. Can I move on to the next template?
Sure, Prof.
All right. So Ayamun, is it? Sure. All right. Good. So please do justice to template number 1. This is your first data. Your transcription must be good. Dare not to, modify just to fulfill your desire. Don't do that. You are not doing justice to the truth. You are actually acting on behalf of their experiences. So you must do justice. That's why it's called qualitative. All right, now template number 2. So kat mana nak cari template number 2 ni? Coding, is it coding? Seven-column template. I'm looking for a 7-column template. This is the one. All right, besar sangat tu. Atau is it too small? Right. Can you see on your screen this particular template number 2? Those online, yes, it's clear, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, good. Now, this template number 2 is known as a 7-column template. Right. Remember this. This is your kitab, your source book. Yeah, it's not the kitab as whatever kitab. It's not Al-Ghazali, or it's not ever whatever. It's just a kitab that you must do it right, because more often than not, you will be falling back to template number 2 rather than to template number 1. Yeah, so this is the place that you have to do it right. Okay, you got it? You have it in your file? Okay. Right. So template number 2 consists of 7 columns. Now, the first column is known as the interview question. So one template for one transcription. Yeah, agree? One template for one transcription. And I'm talking about one set of transcription. So template number 1 on the very left would be your official interview question. Why I use the word official interview questions? Because in a natural conversation, right, when you want to conduct interview with kids, primary school kids, students, right, or learners, would you be talking, let's say that you're asking about a particular steps or strategies, you know, would you be using the exact formal interview questions? No, you are supposed to use their level of understanding, their language. Yeah. Dik, macam mana mama beri adik duit kocek pagi-pagi? Kan? Actually, the real question is, how did you get your so-called pocket money in the morning? For instance, right? During my time, it's like 10 cents. 60s. 10 cents. 10 cents. Most I can get is 20 cents. Yeah, because nasi lemak or mihun is 10 cents. Yeah. Trevor sweet is only 5 cents for 2. So the what call it? Air Bandung, air syrup 5 cents. During my time, yeah, teruk lah kan. 20 cents. Oh, now you got what, like 10 ringgit per week, 10 ringgit per day. It's not enough, not even enough. So the soalan temu bual interview question must be the official interview question that you have produced out of the interview. Let's say you have 4 research questions. Everything turn out to be at least 2 of the interview questions related to semi-structured interview, right? So interview question number 1, based at, let's say there are 4 interview questions for that, each research question, maybe 5. So make sure that it's the official interview questions to be written right there. So this is a national study. I'm sorry to say this. This is a national study, a real study. I'm not joking. This is a real study, right? So the question is about, are you aware of reading the ICTISAS letter bill number 6 regarding the policy on using multimedia technology in the teaching and learning process? Yeah. Long questions, right? So write down the official interview question. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Column number 1 is clear. Column number 2, I use the word okay, sorry. Column number 2, I call it superordinate or keywords of the questions. The keyword for that interview question, you can put it on over there. The key idea, actually. So regarding this lengthy question, official question, I summarize that into the key ideas of that question. So in this case, read the ICTISAS letter, bill number 6, 2003. Whether the teachers have actually read that particular policy. Yeah, it's a government policy based on that particular letter as to the policy on using multimedia or media and technology in teaching and learning. Okay. Oh yeah, I have read it. No, I heard about it, but I have not seen the letter. It means what? The head teacher or the principal failed to share that piece of paper. It should be on the board. It should be in the, if you go to the school, there is one particular board, right? Yes, it's like a maklumat, information not being shared, being hidden or being kept somewhere in the office, right? So it means what? Something wrong with the administration. Okay. So that is the keyword of that particular question. It is you who can actually come up with that keyword. And then column number 3, move on to column number 3, subordinate idea. Okay, actually it's key ideas coming from the conversation, but not your summary yet. So column number 3, based on that particular examples there. So this is my advice. Remember this. For each transcription, you need to have each particular so-called template, right? Analyzing. This is the first step of analyzing template. So for each interview question in the transcription, anything pertaining to interview question number 1, you may want to highlight the main ideas daripada mulut dia kan, coming from the mouth, right? You may want to do the circling. Okay, hold on. Back to not circling, but I call it highlighting. You ask interview question number 1, there could be 4 ideas, right? That ideas is not your summary. It is actually taken from the text. So when you do the taking, you can assign a particular color. Anything yellowish or light yellow belongs to interview question number 1. You got it? Senang kan? So in other words, there is a likelihood that you will be having like 6 different parts of the transcriptions having the light yellowish or the yellowish color, right? All right, you have to be selective which one that you want to pick up. So then you arrange it like this. What if you have 4? I'm expecting 4 bullets from the text, not yet. You don't have to do any interpretation yet. Take them out, arrange it nicely. For each bullet, you know, if this is like blah blah blah, some people, you know, they're not really saying the truth. They're trying to hide certain things. And I know it is taken from discourse unit 2 to 4. This is just an example. So you must be aware that particular one main idea, conversation, coming from the text being highlighted and then being mentioned in terms of the discourse unit. This part is the discourse unit, right? You know why? When you want to defend yourself in your write-up, there will be cases whereby you will be taking out the conversations, right? Okay, right. So then you know that it happens in discussion between discussion unit 2 and 4. It's all about justifying your chosen text. Okay, that's why you must fall back to the transcriptions. Don't cheat, don't lie, do not hide anything out of that transcription, even if the transcript in the conversation or in the interview, it consists of vulgar words. You know, sometimes you can bear it anymore because it's so many times, 60 times, maybe more. Keep on saying that particular word. Can you imagine that? No. Especially teenagers, you know, regarding rebellious attitudes toward parenting, toward parents. You keep on using this. Oh my God. Whether you can survive or not in the interview or not, you know. You can survive the interview or you, okay. So if you have 4, I'm expecting you to have 4 different bullets. And make sure you can draw a line. After this bullet, you know, you draw a line, you know it belongs to 2 and 4. Okay, you got it? So do it right from the very beginning. If you have 4 in a row, I'm expecting 4 lines. So it shows boundary. Okay. Now, have you seen in the transcriptions while reading the transcription, you realize that you ask interview question number 3, right? But the discourse units happen to be at the end of it. You got it? Or you ask interview question number 3, but the discourse units happen towards like in the middle of the transcriptions. So kan? So you need to highlight that thing using the same color and put a legend. Light yellow or yellowish belong to IQ interview question 1. Yeah. IQ interview question. RQ research question. CQ. Have you heard of CQ? Central question. There you go. I took in the balik in other training. So when I used my previous training package, part 1 of this thematic analysis, the package number 1, part 1 is about how you create your proposal. Yeah. Right. You can ask that PhD sister. She knows. Yeah, sister. Yeah. She knows. She knows the suffering. I think she has gone through the suffering period. Now she's now analyzing. So you have to do it right from the very beginning. So CQ is the central question. You can browse whatever materials that I've shared with you. What does it mean by central question? So following central question would be the research questions. Or then based on what type of research question that you would like to attach to that particular interview, right? Because let's say research question number 4, it could be from observation. So, it could be from some other diary or journals writing. It could be from that particular information, or it could be research question number 3 and 4 purely quantitative, because you're using mixed method sequential. You begin with qualitative, RQ1 and RQ2, 3 and 4 happen to be purely quantitative, whereby you are using particular survey items out of the themes. Have you heard of this? If a situation is less known and you want to investigate it using a phenomenological approach, you can come up with your own materials, right? And you collect the data, you do the interpretations, you come up with your particular items. For each theme, you can have 3 to 4 survey items. Let's say you have produced 150 items, survey items based on the RQ1, RQ2. Then you go for the quantitative. So you survey the items to, let's say, 300 teachers. That's an example, kan? They answer the thing. So you become blended mix, but very well attached to a particular phenomenon, a particular issue. All right, done with this number 3. Remember, there are likelihood that some of the ideas come from the various parts of the transcription. So it could be at the end of it. It could be at the end of the transcription or in the middle of transcription, but it belongs to this particular interview question. Why? Because of the nature of human being. Right, like I say regarding the interview with Tun Mahathir or Tan Sri Bukhari, whatever it is, right? You ask question number 3, but the guy can explain in responding to interview question number 3. That guy actually explained interview question number 8, number 13, number 14. You'll be surprised, right? So that's the meaning of natural conversation. What is an interview? It's a natural conversation. So you cannot say, don't, stop. You know, I will ask that question. It won't work. You know, it will kills the flow of the conversation. So you keep on stopping on, I will ask that question later on. No, that is not the way. So in other words, you must be aware of your interview questions. So I always use that small sticker. You know, small sticker? What do you call that? Sticky note. I have 15 interview questions, right? Would I write all the interview questions in a sticky note? No. I only write down each question, the keyword. Just by looking the keyword, I know what to ask. I know what to ask. I know just what to do. I think I missed that one. Never mind. I will keep it clear. I will ask later on. The moment I see that word, I will ask. I know what to ask. And I know how to adjust my question based on the participant's background. Would you be asking a formal interview question for kids at the age of 11 years old or 10 years old? You just use their understanding. Okay. All right. Your mama beli berapa? Mama beli berapa duit kocik? 30 sen je. That's natural, right? But that but the way you ask the question is important. The way you manage to level down the level of thinking. That is the most important thing. Kenapa 30 sen main cukup ke 3 sen? Mana nak cukup pakcik? Matilah saya pakcik. Nasi lemak je dah 60 sen. Hanya, what do you do with 30 sen? Beli gula-gula pakcik, cukup. Kumpul. I will just, collect the 30 cents for 1 week. So on Saturday, I will go to that particular nyonya shop. Beli apa? Beli tikam. They're not well, this tikam, right? Oh my God. That is natural. That is natural conversations. So in other words, your ability to collect information, reach information, right, before you move on to the next question. That is the idea of interview. If failing which, then you will not get rich data. Right. Okay. Done with number 3. If the first point of column number 3 is taken from that particular text, selected part of the text, dare not to do any transcription yet, any interpretation, just put it there. If that idea is supported by example, write down the example. That's why I encourage you to draw a line, right? You draw a line, and there seems to be 2 examples. Put down the examples here. You got it? In many cases, students fail to capture the examples. They tend to be adamant or feel contented just by that main idea. So that's what we call interviewing skills. You only move on to the next question when you feel that you have enough data. When somebody explains certain thing, how did you blah 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 blah? So they will say, well, first I do this, second I do this. Oh, all right. My next question is, now you should deep further. Why make you think that you are using that strategy number 1? Well, sir, why I choose this is that is your failure to go deeper, right? The moment you have query at the back of your head, please ask the questions until you feel contented, you feel satisfied. Now we can move on to the next question. You have to be smart. You have to be a smart aleck in the interview. If Tun Mahathir talk about interview question number 8, you ask interview question number 3, but he explained interview question number 8. Be smart, right? Adjust yourself. That will be very interesting, Tun. I will come back to that explanation. But can we proceed? You have to be intelligent. That is what we call interviewing skills. Okay, or you can say, all right, so that is interesting. Or can you explain further why make you decide that the policy is not blah 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 blah? So Tun Mahathir will blah blah talk, right? Okay, be smart. Okay, and always get ready with your proper device, your recording device, and get that permission. Tone, I won't be able to remember everything out of this particular interview. I'm asking your consent to be recorded, right? And Tone said, well, you can record me, definitely. Tone, at the same time, I'll be quoting you as the PM number berapa kan in the text. Oh, fine. And actually they know, even the readers know this is Tun Mahathir. Because talking about that policy, right? That policy belongs to Tun Mahathir. If you conduct an interview with the Prime Minister, what do you call it, Badawi? Ahmad Badawi. That Ahmad Badawi brought the idea on. Hadari as well as What other than dapat dari human capital?
Oh, yes.
All right. So you know, when we talk about human capital, blah blah blah. You know, there's the only one, the only prime minister, blah blah blah, and so on. So make sure you draw the line, and you can support with examples, even if the examples are somewhere throughout the text. So create your own color coding. This is maybe a light yellow, maybe this is I don't know what. You can create your own color coding. Anything belongs to that color belongs to that interview question. Senang kan? So you have 15 interview questions, you have 15 different color coding. Roughly, I think about you have about 15 and one, but not in my case. I have about 23 interview questions. Because I did something on both. I did something on thematic analysis, and then using the content analysis. Yeah, different game. All right, so examples are given there. Column number 5. Okay. Now, column number 5, I think before we move on to column number 5, you have to do justice to column number 6 as well as 7. Column number 7 is very clear because it is based on the related discourse unit, right? Okay. So what about examples, right? If examples are taken from different parts, nothing to do with this one, you can draw the arrow. You can put a bracket at the end of that examples. You can just write DU 24 and 28. Yeah, it's a bit different because there are cases where the discourse unit happen to be from the 3/4 of the conversations. Jauh lah kan, tapi it's actually explaining that one. Yes.
The interview. Is the examples are going to be from the interview itself, or you are going to create the examples by yourself? Here, in this example here from the interview sets.
Yes, my dear. Can you explain to her?
From your probing question, if you don't get it from the mail, then you should like
Because I think you miss my lecture.
ask more so that you get the example. Yeah, the examples are going to be from the interview. Yeah, from the
You cannot do your own examples after the interview because that is after the fact. So what's the purpose of an interview? Why you conduct interview? Yeah, in other words, it's a fixed conversation with a purpose, right? With that particular informant. So you cannot simply use the formula of at random. I've identified the participant to answer my question. I tell you what, don't do that. I have seen cases like that. If you want to talk somebody who can talk about a particular crime, you need to perhaps go to the prison and get the right person who can share a lot. Let's say robbing a car or hijacking a particular person. The skills, right? So you want to conduct the interview, asking if the person can share a whole lot more. There was a case many years ago. He happened to be the last witness of that particular crime. The last one. There were actually 2. One was shot dead, was killed. Right? I wouldn't mention you the place. So leaving the only one, the last person. But the police force was smart. They conducted the interview with that last witness, or the last person who witnessed the event. So they conducted the interview, they collected data using transcription and everything, recorded and everything, videoed and whatnot. So on his way, guarded, escorted by the armed forces, by the police force, he was shot from a distance. You know, a 1 kilometer bullet. Have you heard of this? No idea, right? A 1 kilometer bullet shot from a distance of 1 kilometer. Yeah, sniper lah. So he was shot there. So what else? What's the evidence there? interview, recorded conversations, and the judge use that as the data, the key data, yeah. So it's a conversation, it's a text out of your interview. Examples. So that's why interview is a skill by itself. So don't look down on, well, I just interview. No. So in the world of qualitative, interview is one of the means and mechanism of collecting information. Because why? When somebody responded to your question with certain ideas and whatnot, it is right here, right? That's the one that tell you the thinking. The brainy parts of the human being is the brain, the reason why he did this, why he he acted in that manner, and so on and here. Right. So you will reach that so-called interpretation later on. So now, if you have done this one, how many times the idea appears? If sometime that informant keep on repeating the same idea, if you notice that the same idea being repeated several times, lump the same idea together, but different discourse unit, right? So make sure that, so each idea being repeated, being considered as one, you put one. If the same idea being repeated a couple of times, here it means let's say there are 3, 1, 1, 1. There are 3, 1, 1, 1. So this is the part that later on you will be doing your frequency count. Content. There are many examples of content analysis, but I'm sharing you one of them because that one will support you. Can you imagine later on when you combine 15 participants, 15 interviewees responding to question number 1, right? When you come up with that list of ideas, then you would see pattern. Nampak tak? When you see all the patterns coming from the 15 informants, maybe you have about 30 main ideas. Katalah 30, 30 main ideas. From that interview question 1, 30 main ideas, maybe you can easily get about 4, maybe 3 to 4 themes. Right? So that's why this is the raw of the raw when it comes to generating themes. So in other words, you are doing it rigorously, coming from the participants or coming from the informants. It's based on fact. You're not, trying to do a little bit of looping here and there. No, it's based on fact. This is what you said. It's being collected, combined together. Right. Now, this is the most difficult part. Column number 5. Column number 5 is the name of the game. Right? So this is the moment where you do summary of this one, 3, right? And 4, if the 4s are given. So coming from column number 3, you come up with your own, you interpret your own key ideas coming from that person. I will share with you some examples later on. So this one, it becomes, let's say, sorry, go down a little bit. Let's go down a little bit. Okay, I think I stop here, only here. Okay, I got one examples there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 5? Oh, I have no examples of 5, mashallah. No, don't worry. All right. So column number 5, occurrence. In other words, before you can come up with the main idea, because column number 5 is about main idea. Column number 3 is about main points, right? So when you lump together several main points, you'll be able to get 1 or 2 main ideas. Remember, repeated main points from column number 3 can lead to perhaps 1 or 2 main ideas as your summary. But don't go too far. Don't go to the second or third level of interpretations. You just focus on what are being said regarding these particular main points as main idea. Yeah.
We have questions.
Questions, please. Yes. Noraza. All right, go on.
In this room, that's the only things.
If our thesis is in English, but the respondents do not speak English, which part do we translate? Do we report that the interview questions are in Bahasa, the transcription in Bahasa, or do we translate everything? Transcription, we don't translate. You do the main transcription. They call it as is. Noraza, are you with me? It's not responding. Okay. Tak ada. Oh, yeah. She's not there. I know this candidate because she's an advanced student.
Berat dah.
Apa tu? Yeah, Azhar, what's your concern? You can use your mic. No, my mic is not okay. Then forget about it. Maybe you can contact me personally. Right. Because I'm rushing, trying to complete this. Like column number 5 means ideas coming from column number 3 in particular. Right. Similar ideas can be named as one idea. Remember, because of the nature of human being, right? They keep on repeating the same. Let's say that the thing is about heterism. Keep on repeating the same notion of heterism within that particular topic several times. So it means that that is their key concern. Heterism is one of the key ideas. Okay. So repeated ideas must be being considered as one main idea, right? But it happens 3 times. Okay, so take note of that. That heterism appears 3 times. The main idea on heterism appears 3 times in different parts of the text. It means what? It shows strength, right? 3 times, mashallah. Okay, that is one idea. Done with this one. So I think I have done all 7. So this is the most difficult part where you have to do justice with your interpretation. Do not go over the board. When they talk about that particular fact, get the essence of the fact, put it as main ideas, right? So that is the task there. Else column number 5, yeah?
5 is more to paraphrasing, right? Just take the keyword, the umbrella.
Yes, exactly. It's like a paraphrasing, but do not leave the essence of the main ideas. Remember, you are representing them, and make sure you capture the essence of that particular idea. What it's all about? It's about this. So tell the truth, write it down. It means about heterism towards blah, 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 something like that. Okay? All right. Okay, let's try. All right. That is column number, template number 2. All right. Template number 3 is about combining. I'm not sure whether this is clear or not.
Yes, excellent. Okay.
All right, this is template number 3. Are you with me? This is template number 3. Number 1 is transcriptions, right? And then you do your color coding, right? Then in other words, transcription informant number 1 would be full of colors, different colors. Why? For each color, it belongs to one interview questions. Right. Because I'm linking you with the interviewing. No, I'm not talking about observations or diary yet. Yeah, I'm only focusing the most favorite one, which is interview, coming from the mouth of the horse, sharing with you their thoughts, their feeling, their life experience in that particular issue. Right. Right. Okay. Number one, which is in transcription. So when you want to identify key ideas from the transcriptions, let's say because of the interview, then you use template number 2, the 7-column template. Right? Okay, now we have produced in column template number 2, column number 5, right? Main ideas. Am I right? All right. Now the issue is, how do we lump together main ideas coming from the, let's say, 12 or 8 or 9, maybe 10 participants or 10 informants? How do we do that? Okay, I've not yet talking about rigorous trustworthiness. Pernah dengar tak? Have you heard trustworthiness? If it is quantitative, they call it what? Reliability and validity. But in qualitative, under trustworthiness of qualitative, how many dimension? Tak tahu. I've shared with you the materials. Trustworthiness, how many? Banyak. Yeah, in other words, when you talk about qualitative, is all about being rigorous, right? And must be defended properly using the caricature, using the dimensions or the worldview of qualitative research. Yeah. So don't think that qualitative is easy. Senang, qualitative senang, buatlah. Then you cry, I should have used statistics. You can feel the pinch when you're doing qualitative. Okay. Somewhere in the middle, you say, I should have do quantitative instead. You know why? Why should I embark in? Why should I make myself suffer now? I completed my PhD in 5.5 years. 5.5 years. Started with quantitative. I submitted my thesis, right? And then about to submit my thesis, but I was challenged by the native. You know why? What's the challenge? I only know half of the moon. Yes, brother, what do you know about moon? What do you know about moon? Yeah, moon, yeah. There's always the dark side, right? What about the bright side? Things that you can see, right? That's the physical thing. But what about the dark side of the moon? Yeah. So that the inner part of it. So I was challenged by her. Said, Ishmael, you only know about that part of the moon. So I was a little bit, unhappy about it. I was ready to submit for my viva. Purely quantitative, purely during that time is known as factorial analysis. During that time, factorial analysis happened to be the highest end of statistics. But now we're talking about what? Something like Rush and whatnot, right? SEM, structured equational modeling, blah, 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 right? So I said, well, never mind. So I called the university. I called Abu Hamid Sulaiman. I said, fine, please continue, Ishmael, for another 1.5 years. So I embarked on qualitative, trying to understand the dark side of the moon. What's the movie about the dark side of the moon? Transformer. Trying to understand the transformer. The dark side. I'm talking about the qualitative part. Sure. Yeah. All right. That's why I become 5.5 years. So trying to understand both worlds. During that time, it is not known as MMR. Nowadays, it's a is a epistemology by itself. It's a body of knowledge known as MMR. What is MMR? What is MMR? Mixed method research. It's a science, right, sir? Now it's being concretized by several known experts, right? So even during the time of after the Prophet time, when they want to verify a particular hadith, right? They would travel, right? Let's say this source is narrated by, let's say, Hamid, right? Then you get to verify the behaviors of Hamid. The hadith itself is statistic, data, right? Data. But to verify it qualitatively, so they were like 3 or 4 of them would travel, like say 3 months, maybe 2 months through the desert and whatnot, and arrive at the village and ask the people over there, tell me more about this particular guy. Hamid, right? Say they would do qualitative analysis in terms of Hamid's behavior, right? Verified. Oh, Hamid is blah, blah, blah. But I've heard, he once, quote unquote, cheated, blah, 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 blah. So would they verify the hadith? Because of the behavior of Hamid. So that is the qualitative part of it. So the dark side of the moon. Now it's it's a known science. If you do mixed method, it's not by preference. I want to do mixed method. So do not put the carts before the horse. So your design is based on your issue that you raised. It's not by your method. I want to do mixed method. First, I want to do quantitative, then I do qualitative. As if that you have already pre-designed. But the reality is not about that. The reality, there's no need for you to do mixed method. You can purely do quantitative, or you can do purely qualitative. So you must understand the method itself before you can talk about your particular issue. This is some of the problems faced by the students. They have pre-designed, they have predetermined, I want to do this. I don't care about the rest. Right? But in reality, the issue can only be answered best. The best is actually through this particular data, types of data, the way you pose the question, the way you introduce the background, the way you come up with that particular research questions. All these would determine what would be the proper method. So that's why during the data, the expert will say, I think, if you do in this manner, it's better for you to focus on this. Then you are in trouble. Questioning back your methodology. I think you have forgotten 4 big studies related to your particular issue already discussed, in many so-called contemporary knowledge. They discuss it clearly. But I fail to see those 4 big cases in your literature review, even in your theories. So it means what? You are in trouble, right? So make sure that you do it properly from the very beginning. Now, this is called template number 3. This is the moment where you have to link. Now, I'm just using 3 examples here. Informant 1, informant 2, informant 3. Maybe you have more, right? So you have to be smart. If you have more like 8 or 9, maybe you have to start thinking of redesigning this. It's your call how to design this, but I'm giving examples of coming from 3 informants. This is the moment where you pile up main ideas coming from column number 5 of template number 2. Are you with me? Exactly. So now, that's the research question. Put it down nicely. What are the teacher's understandings of attitude in learning English as a second language? That's the research questions. Interview question number 1. What does attitude in the context of learning a second language means to you? Right. So 3 informants coming from column number 5. 1, 2, 3. Right? And these particular students Now she's an associate already. many years ago. She believed that 1, 2, 3, 4 talks about one particular theme. And that theme is being given a theme, a name. They call it behavioral display. I may agree, I may disagree. The blue one, learning habits, class participations, discipline, manageable and positive behaviors, all belongs to one particular theme known as behavioral display. I may agree, I may disagree. Right? But I'm giving you examples. Right? So in other words, this is not the finalized, this is the most correct one. No. But I'm telling you how ideas being put according to the informants, and you can see patterns there. That's the idea. The patterns there. If you have, imagine you have 6 or 8, you can see more patterns, more main ideas, and lead to more themes. For instance, interest, anticipations, perception, source, language, all belongs to one particular theme known as perceptions toward English language.
There's a question
Yes, go on.
here.
What's the question?
Salam, bro. What are the conventions on analyzing online text interviews, oral audio recording? What are the conventions
What are the conventions?
on analyzing
All right.
online text and oral audio? Not
Uh,
oral audio.
Online text interview. So the convention is that you must transcribe them. I think I explained that before, where, you know, when you have this so-called recording during the Viva, it will be very difficult for you to defend yourself, right? So you need to produce the text. The text would help you a lot. That's why the template number 2 is critical. I use the word kitab, right? For you to fall back. If you are in trouble, fall back to template number 2, because that's the main source rather than going back to the audio. Can you imagine that? Let's say you have 18 interview. How do you know which coming from which audio? You are in trouble. You know, I faced the same dilemma before. That's why text is very, very critical. Something that you can read, unless you are blind or, you know, there's something else. Right? So text is critical. That's why you have to convert that into text. Right? Recording, okay, oral audio recording. So I can even ask you, Aliyu Al-Haj Rabiu, right? I can even ask you, what about events that involve video recording? Let's say a video recording on environmental waste. You recorded that, you know, waste being dumped into the river, right? Right? So you record it, it's evidence. It's evidence. And now evidence, recording evidence or recorded evidence being used in your thesis. Yeah, a particular event, snow or something like that, or weather change and climate, then be recorded as evidence and being inserted in the thesis in the form of data. So let's say the examiners, you know, read the text, read the thesis, and at the same time would like to see the justification based on the evidence recorded. There you go. You can click and you can see the evidence there. Evidence 1, evidence 2, evidence 3, leading to the issue. Yeah. So unless it's recorded, video. But as long it is audio, I would encourage you to transcribe it. And you must know how to do transcription. Aliyu Al-Haj, are you with me? Tak dia pun. It's not even responding.
There is comments about themes.
Apa ni Kamisa? What one you're trying to comprehend, but the methodology is really one is counter-analytical. So that's why I'm still in a shock. I've been looking to this stays in my heart, in my mind. Siapa ni? That's why Kamisa, do you want me to respond to your questions?
No, that's a comment.
Uh-huh. If you want me to respond to you, I have produced too many already using my template, and they survive. I taught this as far as in Uganda. I went there for first and second batch of PhD students for a Faculty of Education in Uganda University. What's the issue? Yeah, right. And I have students, my PhD supervisees right here. She's using the same thing. I got Harunisa, yeah, using the same so-called transcriptions, right? It's coming from the raw data. Okay, so you have to go back to the person itself. Yes.
What's your take on things? You look back to the literature or you just like
Oh, right.
historic
Good.
one?
Right. It doesn't. All right.
Yeah.
Now, right. Good. You good that you asked that question. Now, let the data speak. You have to, quote unquote, run away from all the existing body of knowledge. Remember, you are representing them. You are trying to elicit ideas coming from their experiences, from their shoes, right? They are the walking people who so-called not embraced, who went through or who have gone through the difficulties or the challenges or the perceptions of the worldview. This is their worldview. Let the worldview speak, right? So only then, when you have generated the themes, when it comes to the discussion part, when you discuss with the portrait or the shared chosen theoretical and conceptual framework. So that's why when you want to decide which theory or affected theories, then you must know why you are choosing those theories. Let's say for my particular issue, I have used 3 different overlapping theories. Top-down theory, bottom-up theory, the third one is interactive. I need all this theory because you can talk a little bit more regarding that particular issue. So when you produce the theme, you discuss within that chosen body of knowledge. The body of knowledge, the knowledge theories, principle theories, models. So, and you must understand the behavior of knowledge, right? Ideas moving on into concepts, ideas moving on into models leading to theory, right? Okay. All right. So understand those things first. Only then you can fall back. There are certain dimensions of several theories affected your study. So in my case, I was a bit quote unquote unlucky because my supervisor said, Ishmael, please attend a talk by that professor and try to attend his course on cognitive theory. Matilah you. Cognitive theory for 1 semester, 3 classes. Another one is on reading theory, 2. And then the other one is psycholinguistic theory affecting my study. And then the other one is psychosociolinguistic affecting my theory. And then there's another one, they call it eye movement theory. It's more applied. They call it sache, the movement of your eyes while reading. Because I did something on reading. Oh, the movement of the eyes, they studied that. There are differences between the good readers, the average readers, and the poor readers in terms of the movement of the eyes. I don't know, but they call it sache. That machine can detect the movement of your eyeballs. I'm not sure whether it's like the lie detecting machine. I'm not really sure of that. It's a lie detecting machine because they can detect you are lying, right? To a certain extent, unless you have been trained how to overcome that lying machine. Are you familiar with this? So several dimensions of knowledge that you need to know before you can talk about that particular issue. Yeah. So when you have that confidence in knowledge, you can talk. Talking about comprehension, I can talk about comprehension. Yeah, I can talk about this, about this. I can talk whatever that they have up there under the Ministry of Education. How do they design it? What are they thinking? What color they are thinking? How they perceive this? You know. So you must know the content. That's what I call content knowledge is important. You can't jump into a particular research problem without understanding the issue, understanding the situations. So you must immerse yourself in the situation. That's how I was guided. So once I've attended all those contents, there are certain things I have to do. Read 10 books, Ismail. In less than 1 month, I want you to share with me whatever that you have learned, and then whatever that you want to propose. I'm proposing. You have to die. Yeah. Be patient. That's why you become 5.5 years. So you know the detail. Oh, they're talking about this. I can put in my fingers deep. I can just say that there's Smith's talking about that, but Smith would only overlap with Goodman because Goodman talk about this particular dimension because Goodman's ideas being colored by certain philosophies. Smith talk about this because Smith's background is about this, blah, blah, blah. But somehow the third dimension, affect this particular Stanovich because Stanovich's background is about this, and they can only overlap on these particular two issues, but they will only be they disagree on 6 dimension. That. Then you can insert. Now they're talking about this. There seems to be one particular issue regarding this so-called interactive theory. That issue is this. So you know what you're talking about, right? In other words, when you do your literature review or they call it background knowledge, you are actually positioning yourself at the frontier of knowledge. So when you are there at the frontier of knowledge, you can, face yourself. Just like that. That one by Ibn Battuta, they talk about that. That one by Ibn Sina talk about this. Oh, they can agree, but they also disagree with this. Blah 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 blah. And you can just like that. Yeah, that's why you have to attend courses, learn about it, know about it, know their strength, know their problems. And what's the purpose of doing research other than expanding knowledge, right? Right. Knowledge is there is no what we call this not corridor. There's no limit. Not even a drop in the oceans of knowledge, right? Am I right? Not even a drop, my brother, my sister. And then humans tend to be arrogant. Right? They know everything. Nothing. The best thing is that the more you know, then you realize that you are what? Like dust in the wind, probably. It's like not even a speck of dust in the wind. Nothing. Right? That's why it's important for you to attend classes, learn more, know about that particular topic, from who is talking about this, what they know about this, how much they know about this. Are they at the frontier of knowledge? Are they still lagging behind? You can tell. Everything's at your fingertips. Go to the library, do your library research properly, get the proper guidance, get the proper support, how to put things in perspective. Or else, the experts from other universities say, how come you missed these particular 4 cases? Those are obvious cases. How can you miss that? There's something wrong. And if this is a topic, you can't miss that in the context of Malaysia, these 4 big cases that have led to this particular policy. Oh, really? Can you say that to the examiners? Oh, no. You look bad, right? You look bad. So that's why that knowledge, you put those aside, whatever that you don't tell the truth, whatever they say, whatever that being shared with you. These are the generated themes. And these are the one that you're going to discuss in your chapter number 4, discussions. In some cases, discussions, chapter number 5, chapter number 6, something else. Okay. Now, when I read a thesis, I've read many theses, many of them, locals, internationals, and so on. At the end of the reading, or perhaps the very first day I received that particular thesis, what would I be saying at the back of my head? I got a thesis. about, let's say, teaching of vocabulary or something on reading, something on what's the end at the back of my head. The moment I receive the thesis, I will always ask one fundamental question. And do you know what's the question? The question is, anything new out of this study? Anything new? Your thesis has been given to experts, right? So they're going to judge. They know. They are at the frontier of knowledge. They know anything new and why it is new. Would this one advance the knowledge in that specialization? Mati lah you, right? Anything new? They will query you back. Anything new? How can, or else you will be like repeating, I've seen this one before. This is actually done by a scholar way back in the 70s. I'm not joking. It happened to my friend. I think he left already. He's an international professor. He said to me, Ishmael, one day I was invited by this particular university, not in Malaysia, it's abroad. So during the Viva, I told the candidate, I pull out the book. The book happened to be in Arabic. Pull out the book. Mr. blah, blah, blah. Whatever that you have done, it's like almost like 90% happen to be like a replications of this particular book. Shocking, right? Shocking. So because of that, it's not popular, but he is one of the leading experts in the world. We can talk about it. Oh, well, it is already in the book. It's already there. It's already there. Nothing new. In some cases, they are more or less the same thing. So what's new here? Are you replicating? And it's not a crime to replicate, but I'm talking about anything new. So in other words, you must do your literature review properly. You know how to position yourself. Yes, I keep on saying this thing, positioning your issue in light of the existing body of knowledge. Tahu tak? Positioning. So you are fitting into a particular context, and you are in the knowing what's going on, and you are trying to highlight why your issue, question that you want to investigate, is important, is crucial, right, in advancing that body of knowledge. Positioning. All right, or else your thesis will be like, I've seen that, maybe I've seen this. This is actually happened 20 years ago. I've seen this one. There's nothing new. You're talking about the same thing. You're talking about strategy, the same thing. It's nothing new. Tell me why it's new then during the Bible. You can feel the pain there. That's why your supervisors must guide you accordingly, properly. Just to highlight. I will always ask another question. Is there any new proposed model advancing the idea into a preliminary model? Can design your model, come up with your own name. Akma's model on metacognitive, blah, blah, blah. Name the model. Why you name it like that? You explain everything. That's what we call advancing the knowledge. And then you can explain why the model is new in light of the existing chosen body of knowledge. Barulah betul. Barulah, this is PhD. Yeah, this is PhD. So do you think it's easy to use the title DR right in front of that? Your name? Oh, no. You want to buy the degree, go ahead, buy it. Right, 300 pounds, you get one particular, but that's not the truth. Okay, yeah, you can trick, you can do whatever, to human beings, but to the creator, you can't. So that's the spirit of doing PhD, that you are in the quest of advancing new knowledge. So now what's the problem for this particular column, this particular so-called row? What happened to this one? Everything being used, but long-term goals being left behind, right?
Mm.
So,
Mm.
right. So if it is by itself and unique, you can still use this thing as a theme by itself. Just drag it out, bring it here. Long-term goals is one of the themes under the meaning of attitude. So attitude has something to do with long-term goals. Right? As one of the themes. So if it is independent by itself, there seems to be not supported by other informants, it can be a theme by itself. Is it part of the part and parcel of taking a break? I'm not sure of this. Is there a break?
Yes.
Ada. Supposed to be at 10, right? 10:30. So
Yes.
can we take a break? For how long?
How long do you need?
I do not know. 15 minutes, perhaps?
15 minutes.
Just to go
15
through
minutes.
that.
Okay, let's take a break for 15 minutes. So we'll be back at 11. So far, so good, right? Jangan kata tak faham, eh. Ada yang dah ambil banyak kali pun kata tak faham.
We are selling nasi lemak and some food and drink. You can pay scoring it.
Okay, yes. So,